Hello everybody and welcome back to your computer science tutorial. This is section 6 video 4 and today we're going to be talking about arrays and strings. So we're just going to hop right into this topic and let's go right over to our first person shooter and we're going to create a script right away and we're going to call that script string breaker. Let's open up that script. And so what we're specifically going to be talking about is realistically the string class, not just the array class, mostly the string class and a few conversions. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make a few strings. We're going to make a number string, and we will put a number inside of this. We'll put 54.4333. The next we'll make a long string, and it will be equal to, it's going to be a string class, and it's going to be equal to write a sentence. Not there. We'll say the big blue dog crossed the street. Maybe I should make it the big red dog. Okay. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we are going to initialize not initialize, just create an array that we will use later, and we'll call this the code, or just code, and it's going to be a string array. And we're going to make another empty string variable called output. Spelt right, of course. And that's going to be a string. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to delete the update function and jump right into our start function. And so what we want to do is the first thing we're going to do actually is we have this number and it's written as a string, so we can't directly use it for math, which is a problem because we want to set it to a number. Let's say we have a some num, and it's a float type. We need to be able to take this number here and set it to a float. So what we're going to do is we're going to do num is equal to float dot parse, and spell parse right, P-A-R-S-E. And when you this is actually a float command, not a string command, and integers also have it. A lot of things have this, and what this does, it turns like a string that has numbers in it into a actual number, so we can do math on it. Because we can't multiply 54.4333 by a number because it's not a number right there. In this case, it's the word 54.333, not the number. So we need to convert it. So this is actually very simple. You just type in the string that you're getting your information from. Now the next thing we have is that we want to let's say we'll do some math on this number. We'll say number times equals 2. So we'll multiply the number by 2. And then so now we have this, but we only wanted to be displaying strings because we want to put this we want to put this string somewhere. So what we need to do is we need to do oh gosh, no, it's number strings, and we're gonna add to this number string, or and instead of doing that, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to type long string, and long string is going to be equal to, or we're gonna add to it. I'm sorry, I'm yawning like crazy right now. It's going to equal the num. But let's say that this wasn't a float, because you could simply add this float onto it. One thing we can do is do toString. This way, we can easily convert. So say we had something else. If you had like characters, or there's times when you can't just use you can't just plop it in, and this is that kind of time. And we're also going to add a space because it won't add a space otherwise, and we want a space. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna break apart our long string. This is simply done. Actually, let's just show this first. So if we go over to our scene and let it compile for a second, and we're to run it, you see our number is double that of what we originally started. You have to look here because at the inspector, because I forgot to add a add a debug log just to output it out in the console. So there we know this works here. And the next thing we're going to do is we are going to, oh actually wait, did it also add to the long string? Let's just make sure that happened. Yes, it did. Okay, perfect. So now we want to break apart this long string. So the thing we have to do is we have this code, and we're going to break it into individual pieces, and the pieces are going to be divided by space characters. Not like the guys who float in actual space, but characters as in like an ABC. So the only thing we have to do this is type in code and do the string we want to break apart, which in this case is long string, and we have to do string.split, and then give it a character we want to separate by, and where we're going to start in the codes array, which you have to start at 0. And for this completely redoes the codes array, so anything that was in it will be deleted and like completely like reassigned. So the next thing is that we have this. Now the code array, it's gonna have a lot of stuff in it. And if we wanted to, well, before we do this, actually, before we make this our code array, let's say we have a long string here, but let's do an output. Let's work with output for a second. And what we want to do is output is going to equal what? Can we do something like this? Long string plus the number string. Now, because these are strings, it might actually work. I've actually never tested this before. And you see, you can actually do it this way, but there's also another way of doing it. Learn something new every day. That is going to equal string dot concatenate. You might see this in code, so it's worth knowing. So it just takes a bunch of strings. In this case, it's going to take our long string. It will take our number string, and this is a time when you would use number dot toString, because it must take a string parameter. And a lot of functions in Unity will need string parameters, which is why this toString function, you need a open close parenthesis right after it, is so very useful. So whenever you're asking for a string, and let's say you only have a number, simply do this, and then your problem solved. And in fact, we will split the output. And what we want to do is we want to debug out, debug log, and we want to send out the code with the boxes at code.length, and close that off. And I think my semicolons are good. And now you're going to watch the magic happen. Have to re-click play. Okay, so click play, and then we get this error. What is this error? Oh. Length -1, actually. And I'm pretty sure that will fix the error. And there we go. And it's that big long number that we had different numbers in that we didn't add spaces in, which is perfect. It's exactly what we wanted. And if you look in this code, however, we have it broken into all these different elements. And if we added spaces in between, like these, so concatenate, that's the disadvantage. When you concatenate any amount of strings, you want to put little spaces for yourself inside of them. And that's one way you could do it. But yes. So that's it for this tutorial. I'll see you guys next time.